Let's talk about love languages. Most of us know what our love language is. Most of us know what our partner's love language is. There are 5: words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, gifts, and quality time. Mine is acts of service. My husband's is quality time. So we have always been opposite, always butting heads in that way. It was probably a couple years ago when I realized that when we don't speak somebody's love language, more precisely, when we speak the opposite of their love language, it is not neutral. It comes to them as hatred. This manifested in my youngest son when he was 4 years old, and I was way too young and dumb to know that's what it was. But it was his 4th birthday, and we were teasing him about giving him spankings for his birthday. And he comes up to me and he says, "Mommy, it makes my brain so angry when you spank me." In that moment, I realized that all the discipline problems I was having with him had much more to do with what was going on in his heart, and that I needed to stop spanking him altogether. And that created a huge turning point in his behavior, which is a whole other conversation. But for the purposes of this, what I want to help you understand is that if you are with a partner or your children and you are speaking the opposite of their love language, it is very likely that they are taking it as hatred. If you are a person who has words of affirmation as a love language, and you have a person in your life who words mean very little to them, let's say their love language is acts of service, and so maybe they're harsh with their words and they just think, no, you just need the truth, or I just need to tell you what to do to fix it. The person that you're speaking to, they are hurting. They are wounded from your harsh words. I'm an acts of service person. My husband is not. And for years, I felt like he must not really love me because he would not see the chores that I had around the house and do them without being asked. When I started to understand that this was a love language problem and that I needed to learn how to receive his love from the way he gives it, that helped me. Now, I'm not saying that we all shouldn't change a little bit and work to love somebody in their language. We absolutely should. But what I think is even more important here is that we start being mindful that we are not inadvertently communicating hate because we refuse to learn how to love somebody in their language. It is so, so important. I want to end with this story this was probably about 10 or 15 years ago. I mediated a conversation with some people, with a family, and they were kind of in a pretty big breakdown. And we sat down and I asked one of the members of the family, "What's your love language?" And she said, "It's physical touch." I was completely blown away because I had known her for a while and I had never picked up that physical touch was her love language. Well, the other 2 people in her family, physical touch wasn't even on the radar of theirs. So for 30 years of her life, she had interpreted the lack of physical touch as hatred, and she never felt like she fit in. So when they made this shift and they started to realize that she needed a hug, she needed a pat, she needed a touch, she needed some kind of physical affection to feel loved, it helped shift the whole dynamic in their family. So let me encourage you. If you are finding yourself in kind of an emotional or intimate breakdown with somebody that you love, pay attention to their love language, and then you take the responsibility not to communicate to them in the opposite language because they're not receiving it neutrally. They're receiving it as hate. And we could sit here and have a whole conversation about, well, they need to not be so sensitive, or they need to change, or dishes don't matter, or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you want to communicate to somebody that you love them, then it is your responsibility to love them in a way that they can receive it. I know that isn't easy. I know that it isn't always easy to just be the one to make the sacrifice, but I know that you can do it. Because here's the thing, if you go first and people start feeling your love, they're going to want to start giving you the love that they're receiving from you. You've got this, you can do it, and I believe in you.